It's Becky from Power Tools with Thread. I had promised you guys I was going to show you how I make custom piping. One of my commenters, one of you wonderful commenters on my last video suggested a very light gray piping. I believe it was Linda Daniels. So thank you, Linda. I did some auditioning of the fabric like we do in a quilt store. And I just absolutely love the gray. I have a very light, soft gray right here. And I'm going to make this into my custom piping. So what I needed to do was, first of all, you have to choose what size piping you want. On a bigger project, like for home deck, you would choose something maybe a little bit bigger. But if you're going to make a little bag or you want to do it on a garment, you would choose something with a little less diameter. This is decorative trim. I'm very certain I got it at Hobby Lobby, although I may have picked it up at Walmart. I don't know. And it is 3.2 millimeters is the diameter of this. And it came 18 feet. White, it's 100% polyester. So this is the size that I was looking for. I think that soft gray is going to look wonderful against that pink. Sorry, I didn't mean to step out of frame here. So hold on, let me get the pattern piece and show you what I'm going to do. So here's the pattern piece. This is from the Tunic Bible. I've talked about that many times in my videos. And this is the piece right here. So what I did, I put this onto pattern paper that I got from Sure Fit Designs. Glenda Sparling sells this pattern paper. I understand there's another brand that might work as well, but I use this. I love this pattern paper. I write on it with a pencil. Look, it doesn't smudge. Okay. I have used already the roly thing, tracing paper, the tracing wheel. That's what I'm after. I've used a tracing wheel on it, and it's holding up super strong. You can erase on this, and it is very difficult to tear. So you can also put tape and take tape off, regular tape, if you don't have that light tack tape or whatever. So this is the pattern piece. So what I did was I measured this side right here and then the bottom to the point and doubled it. And it came up to, this side is almost 14 inches, right? So it's 28. And this side is almost 4 inches, so that would be 8. And 28 and 8 is 36. Okay, so I cut a 36-inch piece of my cord. This is just a twisty, you see up close? Just a twisty cord. I don't know if that focuses in or not. So this is so handy to know how to do, you guys. If you want to run a little piece of piping on a bag you might make or something, or on a waistband of doll clothes or whatever. It's just a lot of fun to be able to do this. So I'm going to put the camera and point it down to the table and show you what I'm doing, okay? Hold on. Okay, now you can do this however you want. This is just the way that works best for me, okay? I just fold up my fabric and I use a 2-inch strip. I'm actually going to probably need 2 of them to get it, depending on how much I get from one 2-inch strip. But I use a 2-inch strip of fabric. I make sure that the edge is straight here on the bottom, okay? And set that at the 2-inch mark and cut it, okay? Let's see how much we have. 22, so that means I've got plenty. I only need 1 strip. All right. So let's go to the sewing machine and I will show you how I do this. Okay, so we're here at the sewing machine now. I want to show you, this is actually the machine I use for quilt piecing, but it comes with this old school zipper foot, okay? And these things are, to me, the best for making piping. There are foots that are designed specifically for piping, and if you want to go buy one of those, you can. But I don't need or have one. Looks like my thread came out. I tell you, this machine, and some of you have commented to me about how the needle threader on this is just the pits. I think the next time I take this, see, it's being persnickety. I think the next time I take this in for service, I will have them extend the thread tail length that it does on the cut. So when you put one of these feet on, you want to make sure that your needle goes down. It has little grooves on either side of it, and you want to make sure that your needle just goes right down in that groove without actually hitting the foot too bad. So, get this out of here. I'm going to pull up my bobbin is what I'm trying to do. See if I can get it. There we go. Okay. So making piping is really, really simple. All you have to do is put the cording in the middle of the fabric. So I'm just going to put this in the middle. You know, I've got a little selvage edge there. It doesn't matter. I won't be needing that. And you just put it in the middle and fold it over, okay? And then slip it under the foot. And you want it so that the fabric, the excess fabric, is being held tightly by the foot, okay? You don't want it so that the excess fabric is out here kind of flapping around, all right? And the way I do this is I just hold it and make sure that the cord is snug up inside there. And this is not cut on the bias. You saw that. This is cut straight, okay? If you're going to be doing a curve, you're going to want to cut bias strips, but mine's got straight, so I don't need to do that. And you just start. I probably should use a different color thread. I probably should use a different color thread. I'm going to use a different color thread. Hold on a second. Okay, I just changed my thread color so it's a little bit more like the fabric so that it will show nice. Now how I hold this is let me put this under here. You want to push the cording right up against the edge of this foot. Make sure you're going to go in there. Whoop. I have got, I'm going to cut it. There we go. And I kind of pull the cording toward my right so that as it stitches, it's pulling the fabric against the cord. So you just measure up. That's why I like a 2-inch strip. It gives me plenty of fabric to play with. Make sure that's pushed up into the middle of the fabric. Pull it a little bit to the right. And we're off. Okay. I'll do this one more time for you guys and I'll put you on pause. And it doesn't matter that over here, these are off now. That doesn't matter, okay? Don't worry about that. So let me do this again. I could put you on pause or I could just keep going. I love this machine. This is the Brother PQ 1500 SL, with the exception of the crappy threader, needle threader. It is identical to the Baby Lock Jane. Except you're going to spend about $1,000 less or so I saw at a quilt shop in Vegas. Here we go. See, this is pretty simple. coming up to the end. Make sure I got that in there nice and tight. That's it. I'll cut it. All right. The cording is now encased in that fabric. I probably could have gone with a lighter color thread, but at least you guys can see it. Isn't that nice? It's nice and straight. Beautiful. Okay. One more step. Okay, so we've wrapped the cording into the fabric, and now we have a really nice piece of enclosed or encased cording that's going to become piping. The trick to getting piping placed accurately on a garment is to have a very even seam allowance, because you measure up the seam allowance on the edge with the edge of the seam allowance in your fabric. And so it's really important that that seam allowance is accurate. There's a lot of ways you can do this, but there is a really handy little gizmo, and you guys know I'm a gadget girl. This is called the Grooven Piping Trimming Tool Grande. This is trim piping seam allowance for handbags and home dec. It is by Susan Cleveland from piecesbewithyou.com, P-I-E-C-E-S, piecesbewithyou.com. Let me get a piece of paper here and hold this up. There. Can you see this? I will link it in the description box below, okay? This is what it is. Now, what this has on it is two grooves. I think you can see them. You can probably see them against my shirt. There's two grooves, and the grooves are not as important as what's on the outside of the groove. So on the outside of this groove, it's 1/4 of an inch from the edge. And on the outside of this groove, it's 1/2 inch from the edge. So let me show you how I'm going to use this. Okay. All right, so how I use this is, here's the edge of the cording, and here's the seam allowance that I had wrapped around. So what I do with this is you're supposed to take the groove, okay, I'm going to take the groove. I want 1/4 inch seam allowance on this. Actually, no, I want a larger. Is this 1/2 inch? Let me double check this. Actually, no, it's 5/8. And so I'm going to use the 5/8 inch seam allowance side. This is 5/8 and this is 1/4. So if you're going to use piping in a quilting project, this is the side you use. If you're going to use it in a garment project, this is the side you use. And all you do, let me put this where you can see it, is I place the cording inside of the groove, okay? Just like this, okay? And I'm going to take my rotary cutter and just trim to the outside. This is why it doesn't matter if the edges of your fabric, once you get done stitching the piping, is not exact. I'm sorry my hand's in the way. But this gives me a completely and totally accurate seam allowance. Sure, there's other ways to do this. I actually got this tool. There was a quilt store in San Antonio down in North New Braunfels. I don't remember the name of it. I went to it one time and it was going out of business that one time. So I don't remember the name of it. I know you girls that have been stitching around here quilting for years know it by heart. So that's it. I'm all done. Look at this. A perfectly trimmed piece of piping. It's going to go on my pink. Let me show you. Here's the placket piece for the tunic Bible. That's the placket piece for that. This will have a hem edge right here. And this will go right like that. Do you see that? I love that. Linda, you are spot on. I love that understated soft gray against that pink. I think it's gorgeous. Great job. Okay, thank you so much for the suggestion. Let me bring this back up here. I'm going to sign off. And I will talk to you guys when I'm done with the tunic. Bye.